truly there's parts of this Knicks and Spurs matchup that is brutal for both teams. Obviously the fly in the ointment of everything is Wembanyama, right? You got a generational type player. How do you match up with him? How does Cat match up with him? But we've seen Love in the future marketplace. We've seen Love. Obviously, this spread started around 5.5. We settled in at 4.5. So thoughts on the line move, thoughts on the series, and how are you looking to bet game one, my man?
Yeah, to what Brian said, I think I heard him say that the road teams or the underdogs don't do well in game one. I mean, it usually makes sense. The other team is the much better. Andy's here in spirit. Appreciate that, Andy.
See, I
Um,
love that. Love that.
the other team is usually the better team. I don't know that I can say confidently that the Spurs are the better team here in this matchup. You know, they played a few times so far this season. They played actually a championship game, and the Knicks were able to come out on top in the cup. I think that we can take some things away from that, the three matchups this season. Like you said, some things that both teams can take advantage of. Um, the Knicks, they've hit a different gear. We've talked about this on this show maybe a couple times now because they've won 11 games in a row. But when they started to run offense through Karl Anthony Towns, it just made the offense so much more efficient. And that's why you see him putting up crazy numbers and continuing this winning streak. Now, Cat is going to be crucial, against Wemby to take Wemby away from the paint. And they've tried multiple different things, to counter it and haven't had much success. On the other side, Wemby just, his gravity, it takes up he takes up so much space. Like if the players that the Knicks want to put on him, OG and Mitchell Robinson, etc., if they just, get away from his body for a second, you can throw the lob. And that leaves a lot of room for guards to get into the paint, a lot of room for, kick out open three-pointers. So I honestly think, if this game didn't have such a big layoff, I would I would have ran to the window immediately when it opened and bet the over. I mean, both of these teams can take advantage of each other. Both of these teams play fast. Will we see it in game one? Probably. Will we see the great shooting with the week off or, a few days off for both teams? We shall see. I would only bet the over in this game. And as far as the side, you know, you can't ignore the Spurs. I mean, it was a fight to the death, 7 game
Mhm.
series versus the Thunder. The Knicks, meanwhile, not only one sweep they're coming off of, back to back sweeps. I mean, this is a rested, healthy team coming into this first game and playing their best basketball right now. So, as far as your question about the line move, I think that's what's being reflected as far as it coming down. And I'd probably agree with it.
Yeah, the old rest versus rust is always something that you have to think about when you got the hangover here. Skee, one thing I am wondering is you're looking to attack this game tonight. You talked about how these player matchups are kind of how does Cat roll into this? Do you try and fire on player props early? I mean, that's Andy's bread and butter, right? So we'll talk about what Andy has up, but is that something you like seeing how these two teams match up? I mean, we have the what we saw earlier in the season, sure, but come playoff time, it's completely different. So do you look to fire on player props right out of the gate? If you do, are there any players that you're looking to target heading into here? Or is that just kind of, hey, let's see how game one settles in. Let's see how the rest versus rust works. And that's how you're going to attack it. Thoughts on player props as we head into tonight?
Yeah, I do bet a good amount of player props during the regular season. I don't bet a whole lot during the playoffs, but I think
Okay.
you can take advantage based on what you expect the game script to be, or based on what some of the players or coaches tell you. In this game, if I have to pick one, um, and based off what I've seen from this matchup so far, this in the 3 times this season, San Antonio is more than happy leaving Josh Hart open. We've seen other teams do it. They're going to leave him open from three. You have to give up something, and that's what they're comfortable giving up. And Josh Hart has shown, even though he's not the greatest shooter, if you're going to leave him open all game and let him shoot 6, 7, 8 threes, he can make two. And I think his 3 point prop is probably 1.5 or something like that. So that would be one I look towards over. But they're definitely just game script dependent. I think you can take advantage of some player props.
Yeah, for sure. And Andy Lang has one loaded over his page. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Skee, what do you have rocking tonight then? It feels a little bit anticlimactic, the fact that we're talking NBA Finals game one, and then I'm going to ask you about tempo and liberty. But there's still money to be made, man, in the WNBA, especially when all eyes are on the court elsewhere. So what do you got rocking here tonight? You got anything in the association, whether the women's variety or an NBA for this evening?
Yeah, usually around this time, I feel extremely confident about every pick that I put up in the NBA, in the playoffs, in the finals, et cetera, et cetera. I do have a best bet up and available on my page. It's a 4%. And honestly, the only reason it's not a 5% is because it's the first game. But I do
Mhm.
feel very strong about it. If you've probably been listening to me over the past few weeks, you probably can pick up on, how I've been feeling about this matchup. But I have a play that I really love tonight, 31 and 14 so far in the playoffs. If you can go back years, I'm up close to 200 units in the playoffs. If you want to rock with me in game one, that's where you can grab it.